Well, hey parents, this is Jeff, and I'm here with a continuing the journey activity that you can do at home with your kids. These activities are designed to be done in small groups here on Sunday mornings, and our team does such a spectacular job of leading these activities with your kids, but they work super well as something that you can do easily at home to help them continue the journey, because we know that your kids' journey to find and follow Jesus isn't kind of a station to station, Sunday to Sunday kind of thing. Now, Sundays are super important. We think that every Sunday is super important for your kids, but the bulk of the work actually is done not on Sunday, but during the week as they continue their journey. So these activities can really help you help your child continue that journey. This activity is called Rocks versus Sand. So this week in Kids Church, we shared Jesus' parable about the builder who builds their house on a firm foundation of rock or a not so firm foundation of sand. It's found in Matthew chapter 7, right at the end of what we call the Sermon on the Mount. So you just need a few supplies for this activity. You're going to need something that's can be a rock. It could even be your sidewalk outside. You'll need some sand. That could be just having sand in a bucket in your house. It could mean you've got some dirt outside that can be the sand. This is actually a perfect activity to do maybe at the beach. If you're planning a beach trip this week, a perfect activity for that. And then your kid is going to need something that they can build a tower out of, some blocks from around the house or whatever you have. And so you're going to ask your kid, hey, do you remember the Bible story this week? And one of the great things that we can do with our kids is we can ask them to tell us the story. It's a really good memory technique for your kids to be able to remember these Bible lessons. And so, remind them, what did the builders do? Which one did Jesus say was wise? Which one did Jesus say was foolish? What happened when floods came? And if you know the story, you know that the house built on the rock, when the floods came, it's just fine. The house built on the sand crashes down when the floods come. And you're going to say, okay, now Jesus said this. Let's take a look at this in real life. So you're going to challenge your child to build a tower out of something, like I said, blocks, something like that. Probably not Legos. Legos kind of locked together, although even that's fine because when the sand washes out, it'll at least fall over. But something that'll crash with a nice mess makes a nice deal. And so you're going to challenge your kid to build a tower that can withstand a storm, and then you're going to test that tower on a couple of surfaces. So whatever your rock is, whether it's an actual rock or whether it's a sidewalk, maybe if you're at the pool, it's the area around the pool, you're going to get a nice pitcher of water, and you're going to pour that carefully. You don't want to just fling it on it, but pour it carefully around the foundation of their tower and see what happens. And if they built any kind of decent tower, if it's on a rock, it'll be just fine. And then, same thing, have them take that tower, put it on sand or something like that, maybe some loose dirt, and start to pour water around that foundation. And what, of course, should happen is that the sand and dirt should start to wash away, and that tower is going to fall down. So then you're going to ask some follow-up. So first of all, this is a super fun activity. Kids love the challenge. I've done this kind of activity with kids for a number of years now, and kids all think that they can build the tower that's going to last on sand. So ask them, what happened to the tower that was built on sand? What happened to the tower that was built on rock? Some pretty easy, observable things right there. And then say, why do you think someone might want to build their house on sand? And let them imagine some answers, maybe because they really want to be close to the ocean, they love the beach, whatever the answer is. Then say, sometimes it might seem easier to build on sand instead of taking the time to make a solid foundation. Some people build their whole lives on a sandy foundation. That means when they have a choice to make, they do whatever feels best, whatever seems easiest at the time, without thinking of what God designed them to do. But we know it's always best to build our lives on God's Word as our foundation. And we do that by listening to God's Word, by reading God's Word, and then actually putting into action what we read. And remind your child that if we want to survive the storms of life, we need to build our lives on a firm, solid foundation. And we find that in God's Word. That means we not only listen to what it says, but we put it into action. So a really super fun, really easy activity that you can do with your kids this week. Especially, by the way, if you're going out to the beach, you're going to have sand all around you. So what a great time to take, 5 minutes out of your day and just focus their attention in on something that Jesus might want them to know so that they can continue their journey to find and follow Jesus all week long. Hope you have a great time with this. Bye-bye, everybody.